Today we uncover the shocking truth about the modern-day UK Easter eggs. This year the so-called Easter eggs have been downright disgraceful, and it only shows just how greedy the food conglomerates have become. This isn't just about Easter, it's about just how far these mega corporations are willing to go when they know they can get away with it. And it represents the problem with not only the snack industry, but our food system as a whole. What started in 1875 as hand-decorated luxury items filled with premium chocolate for once-a-year celebration has become something almost unrecognizable. We're talking about products where some contain nearly 60% sugar by weight, where the legal minimum for cocoa content is 20%, and major brands are doing exactly that. The bare minimum required by law to even call it chocolate. We're talking about shrinkflation so extreme that some eggs have become 44% more expensive per gram in just 1 year. Here's what really twists the knife. While manufacturers blamed rising cocoa costs for hiking prices and shrinking eggs, cocoa prices actually collapsed 70% from £11,000 per tonne in May 2025 to just £3,250 per tonne today. They raised your prices while their costs plummeted. That's not inflation, that's pure profit-taking. And it gets worse. Many of these eggs no longer even say Easter on the packaging. They want your Easter money, but won't acknowledge the holiday itself. The chocolate you remember from childhood has been replaced with a palm oil and vegetable fat egg, sold to you in boxes that often feel way more premium than the inedible stuff inside. Some products have ingredient lists reading like chemistry experiments, 15 or more components when quality chocolate needs just 3. Child labor remains rampant in cocoa supply chains, with an estimated 2 million children working barefoot with machetes in West African plantations for up to 9 hours a day, while for every pound you spend on chocolate, the farmers who grew the cocoa receive just 6 pence. They justify all this while your dairy milk Easter eggs get smaller every year, but the CEO still gets paid 20 million. No shrinkflation there. So we've gone through the major brands currently sold in UK supermarkets and will expose the 8 Easter egg products you need to avoid. Then, I'll tell you the 5 which are actually still worth buying. But first, I need your help. If this investigation shocks you, if you think people deserve to know what they're really buying when they fill Easter baskets for their families, click that hype button right now. That hype tells the algorithm this matters, that food standards matter, that families spending £30 to £50 on Easter eggs deserve better than shrinking portions filled with palm oil and sugar. Every hype pushes back against corporations cutting corners while raising prices. It's how we force them to listen. Now, let's get into it. Number 8. Cadbury Dairy Milk Easter Egg. This is where the betrayal cuts deepest, because Cadbury built its reputation on quality. John Cadbury founded a brand that stood for generosity, proper chocolate, something worth celebrating. Those original Victorian Easter eggs from 1875 were hand-decorated luxury items, dark chocolate shells enhanced with chocolate piping, and marzipan flowers filled with sugar-coated chocolate drops called rajis. The chocolate itself was the point. Then Kraft Foods took over, later absorbed into Mondelez International, and shoppers started noticing things didn't feel the same. The iconic cream egg recipe changed, the chocolate quality dropped, the yolk filling became gritty. Comment sections are filled with people saying they refuse to buy Cadbury anymore, calling it the king of palm oil. Here's what you're actually getting now. The ingredient list reads milk, sugar, cocoa butter, cocoa mass, vegetable fats including palm and shea, emulsifier, flavorings. Despite that famous glass and a half of fresh milk branding, they're padding it out with palm and shea fats because they're cheaper than real dairy cream. The cocoa content sits at exactly 20%, the legal minimum required to call something chocolate. That's not a quality choice, that's compliance. It's the flaw, not something to be proud of. Sugar content sits around 56 grams per 100 grams. You're paying for the purple wrapper and childhood memories, not quality chocolate. Every 3 days, 4 dairy farmers go bust while palm oil replaces dairy in products like this. Palm oil cultivation drives deforestation in Indonesia and Malaysia, disrupting ecosystems, displacing wildlife, contributing to climate change. Companies hide it under labels like vegetable fat or vegetable oil, hoping you won't notice. Some Cadbury eggs have Happy Easter printed on the box top, but open it up and you're eating palm oil chocolate at minimum cocoa standards. The heritage is marketing. The quality walked out the door with the craft takeover. Number 7. Cadbury Mini Eggs Easter Egg. This one hits families particularly hard because the shrinkage is designed to slip past you. At Morrison's, the egg shrunk from 193.5 grams to 180 to 1 grams, while the price jumped from £4 to £5. That's a 34% price increase per gram. The family pack shrunk 4% from 270 grams to 256 grams, losing around 14 grams, which equals roughly 4 fewer mini eggs per pack. At Tesco, it's now £6.20 or £5.40, with a club card up 27.8% from the previous £4.85. Even the discounted club card price is still nearly 28% more expensive than last year's regular price. This is the family budget trap. Parents filling Easter baskets for multiple kids quickly realize they've spent £30 to £50 on chocolate that doesn't justify the cost. You're buying smaller eggs at higher prices, and the manipulation is everywhere. The family pack shrinkage is invisible unless you're counting individual eggs. Club card pricing makes you feel like you're getting a deal when you're actually paying significantly more than you did a year ago. 28% more per gram for the family pack. The boxes look the same size, the branding is identical, but you're getting less and paying more. That's modern Easter economics. Number 6. Cadbury Extra Large Twirl Easter Egg. Here's where the portion scam becomes undeniable. This egg used to come with 2 full-size twirl bars. Now it comes with 2 individually wrapped single fingers. They literally cut the bars in half and charged you more for it. The egg itself dropped 9.5% in weight, from 241 grams to 218 grams, while the price rose 16.7% from £6 to £7. That works out to a 29% increase in price per 100 grams. Your money buys nearly a third less chocolate than it did before. This isn't inflation, this is calculated downsizing paired with price hikes. The wafer structure of twirl already means you're not getting solid chocolate. Now you're getting less of that wafer-filled chocolate and smaller bars on the side. The packaging still looks impressive, the egg still claims to be extra large, but the numbers tell a different story. Smaller egg, halved bars, 29% more expensive by weight. They're banking on you not doing the math, not noticing the bars got smaller, not checking last year's weight against this year's. Most people don't. They see the familiar purple box, remember childhood Easter mornings, and buy it. That's the nostalgia tax in action. Number 5. Galaxy Extra Large Milk Chocolate Easter Egg. This is the shrinkflation champion, the most extreme documented case. At Asda in 2005, you could buy 252 grams for £4.98. In 2026, you get 210 grams for £5.97. That's a 44% price increase per 100 grams in just 1 year, nearly half more expensive for the same amount of chocolate. Let that sink in. The egg contains 25% cocoa solids, still low tier compared to quality chocolate. It contains palm fat to bulk up profit margins. Sugar content sits around 55 to 58 grams per 100 grams. You're getting a sugary, palm fat padded product that's getting smaller while costing significantly more. Mars, the company behind Galaxy, quietly gave you less while charging more, hoping you wouldn't notice or wouldn't care. Remember that cocoa price collapse from £11,000 per tonne to £3,250 per tonne, a 70% drop. Your costs went up 44%, while their costs fell 70%. That gap is pure profit. They blamed rising costs while pocketing the difference. This is corporate sleight of hand at its finest. The egg looks appealing on the shelf, the chocolate is familiar, but the value has evaporated. You're paying nearly half again as much per gram as you were 12 months ago for a product padded with cheap fats and minimal cocoa. Number 4. Maltesers Easter Egg. Shoppers are calling this the Ozempic egg because it's gotten so thin and light, it feels like it's been on a weight loss program. The shell feels paper thin, snapping with barely any pressure, light and hollow and over far too quickly. Some shoppers say the box feels more premium than the chocolate inside, which tells you everything about where the investment went. The Maltesers large egg shrunk 18% from 190 grams to 155 grams, while the price rose from £4 to £4.50, a 38% increase by weight. The extra-large egg shrunk 16% from 231 grams to 194 grams, while the price jumped from £6 to £7. They removed one 37-gram Maltesers pack entirely and charged you more for less. Mars blamed rising cocoa costs for these changes. Here's the problem with that excuse. Cocoa prices didn't rise, they collapsed. From £11,000 per tonne in May 2025 to £3,250 per tonne today, a 70% drop. Where are your price drops? Where's the reversal of shrinkflation now that costs have plummeted? It's not coming because this was never about costs, it was about profit margins. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment. The egg contains 25% cocoa solids, minimum with vegetable fats. The Maltesers themselves contain glucose syrup, barley malt extract, palm kernel fat, wheat flour, raising agents. Sugar content ranges from 53 to 58 grams per 100 grams, depending on whether you're eating shell or Maltesers. This isn't premium chocolate, it's a lab-built nostalgia combo trading on your memory of enjoying Maltesers as a kid. The cocoa lie is now exposed. They blamed costs that were falling while raising your prices and shrinking your portions. Number 3. M&M's Crispy Easter Egg. This is the ultra-processed texture bomb where you're paying more for a louder, more engineered experience. The egg contains 25% cocoa solids minimum, bottom-tier quality. The M&Ms themselves contain starch, rice flour, dextrin, glucose syrup, colors glazing agents, palm kernel oil. Sugar content sits around 57 to 58 grams per 100 grams. The shrinkflation here is brutal. The egg went from 192 grams for £3.48 to 156 grams for £3.97. That's a 40% increase in price per 100 grams. You're paying 40% more per gram than you were last year for a product that's all about engineered crunch rather than actual cocoa quality. The crispy component brings industrial starch, artificial colors, glazing agents to create that shell and texture. It's chemistry, not chocolate craftsmanship. This is texture over quality, mouthfeel over ingredients, loudness over substance. The appeal is the snap and crunch, the bright colors, the novelty, but you're paying a 40% premium per gram for that engineered experience. The chocolate itself is secondary, a vehicle for the crispy bits and candy shells. Mars keeps its name small on the packaging, letting the M&M's brand do the selling, but make no mistake, this is a corporate giant product with corporate giant priorities. Profit margins matter more than cocoa content. Texture engineering matters more than ingredient quality. And that 40% price hike per gram proves they'll charge whatever they think you'll pay. Number 2. Cadbury Cream Egg Easter Egg. This is sugar engineering at its most shameless. The shell contains around 56 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Then you've got the ultra-sweet fondant-filled creme eggs on top of that. This is a compound sugar attack, cheap chocolate plus fondant centers, a delivery system for sweetness rather than cocoa flavor. Since the Kraft takeover and absorption into Mondelez, long-time buyers report the chocolate quality dropped and the yolk filling became gritty. That's not nostalgia talking, that's recipe degradation. The whole point of this product is bolting a famous confection brand onto a hollow shell. The cream egg name does the selling. The chocolate itself is mediocre at best, existing only to house those fondant centers. This represents Easter's evolution from chocolate celebration to sugar delivery system with branding. The egg trades entirely on your memory of cream eggs, that fondant yolk, the springtime novelty of it. But the chocolate surrounding it is low quality, high sugar, designed to be cheap enough that the fondant eggs can be the star. You're not buying chocolate, you're buying a branded experience, And the experience is overwhelmingly sweet. Some of the highest sugar content in the Easter aisle, doubled up with fondant that's basically liquid sugar. If you're looking for quality chocolate, this isn't it. If you're looking for a sugar rush wrapped in purple nostalgia, you've found it. But call it what it is, an engineered confection, not a chocolate egg. Number 1. Smarties Dinosaur and Smarties XL Easter Eggs. This is the kid-targeted sugar trap, and it pushes the upper limit of what you can cram into an Easter egg. Sugar content hits 60.4 grams per 100 grams in the dinosaur version. That's nearly 60% sugar by weight. Read that again. You're buying something that's more sugar than chocolate. Cocoa content sits at 25% minimum. Milk solids at 14% minimum. The Smarties component is all about colored shells and candy coating, bright colors and novelty over chocolate depth. Nestlé uses cartoon packaging, dinosaur boxes, child-friendly mascots to sell this directly to kids. It's less about chocolate quality and more about the appeal of bright colors, fun shapes, exciting boxes. The sugar ceiling here is staggering. 60.4 grams per 100 grams means the product is majority sugar. The cocoa percentage is minimum legal standard. The whole thing is designed to hook children with color and packaging while delivering a sugar bomb their parents are paying premium prices for. This is the playbook. Hide low cocoa percentages behind loud branding. Make the packaging more exciting than the chocolate. Target kids who don't know better and parents who are buying based on brand recognition and cartoon appeal. The Smarties are the star, not the egg. The chocolate is an afterthought, a vessel for those colored candies. And you're paying for the privilege of giving your kids nearly 60% sugar by weight in chocolate form. If that doesn't bother you, fine. But know what you're buying. This is candy marketed as chocolate, sugar marketed as Easter tradition. So how do you find the good stuff? You look past the loudest brands. You check the cocoa percentages, aiming for anything above 30% for milk chocolate and 50% or higher for dark. You read ingredient lists, looking for short lists with recognizable components: cocoa mass, cocoa butter, sugar, maybe milk. You avoid products where vegetable fats appear high on the list or where the chocolate takes a backseat to novelty fillings and tie-in candies. You accept that better chocolate often comes in less flashy packaging, supermarket premium ranges, or independent brands rather than cartoon boxes. The good eggs are out there, they're just quieter. First, M&S Collection Single Origin Dark Chocolate Egg at 85%. This is the cleanest contrast you'll find. 3 ingredients: cocoa mass, cane sugar, cocoa butter. That's it. No palm oil, no vegetable fats, no emulsifiers or flavorings, just chocolate. 85% cocoa solids, over 4 times what Cadbury offers. Sugar content sits at only 15 grams per 100 grams compared to 56 to 60 in the Avoid products. Made with Peruvian cocoa beans, this delivers intense flavor without bitterness, silky texture revealing layers of deep ripe fruit and bright berry notes. The snap is clean and satisfying. The richness lingers. This is what happens when chocolate is actually the point of an Easter egg rather than a vehicle for branding and sugar. It's premium without pretense, quality delivered rather than just promised. When you compare 3 ingredients to the 15-plus ingredient chemistry experiments we just covered, the difference is stark. This is chocolate. The others are products. Second, Waitrose #1 Milk Chocolate Flat Easter Egg. Here's where a supermarket own brand destroys the major names on specs. 49% cocoa solids minimum, more than double Cadbury's 20%. 25% milk solids minimum. Sugar content at 32 grams per 100 grams, nearly half what Cadbury delivers. The shell is thick and substantial, not paper thin. The texture is melt in your mouth, velvety and rich. This is proof that better chocolate at reasonable prices exists if brands wanted to make it. A supermarket premium tier operating in a completely different league than the household names. Yes, it's flat rather than egg-shaped, but that's honest design over nostalgic form. The chocolate quality matters more than the shape. When you're getting 49% cocoa versus 20%, when you're getting half the sugar, when you're getting a thick shell that snaps cleanly rather than crumbling like paper, the shape becomes irrelevant. This shows what's possible when the priority is chocolate quality rather than brand recognition and cartoon packaging. Morrison's the best free from Belgian raspberry dark chocolate egg. Even a vegan free-from option beats most mainstream eggs, which tells you how low those standards have fallen. 60% cocoa solids minimum, triple what Cadbury offers. Sugar at 32.1 grams per 100, nearly half the Avoid products. The ingredient list is relatively clean. Cocoa mass, sugar, cocoa butter, freeze-dried raspberries, emulsifier, flavoring. No palm oil, no padding, just chocolate with fruit. This is accessible ethical chocolate available at a normal supermarket. You don't need to hunt down specialty shops or pay luxury prices to get something decent. 60% cocoa, clean ingredients, free from formulation that doesn't sacrifice quality. It proves the excuses don't hold up. Better chocolate exists at everyday retailers if you look past the loudest brands and check the percentages. Fourth, M&S Milk Chocolate Gigantic Buttons Easter Egg. Not all milk chocolate is equal, and this proves it. 34% cocoa solids minimum, 70% more than Cadbury. Yes, sugar is still relatively high at 52.4 grams per 100 grams because it's a sweet milk chocolate egg, but that's backed up with actual cocoa content. The ingredient list is simpler than the novelty eggs. No gimmick engineering, no tie-in candies, just solid milk chocolate and buttons. The texture is rich and creamy with a clean snap and no artificial aftertaste. This is what's possible when you make better milk chocolate instead of minimum standard chocolate packed with palm oil. 34% versus 20% is a massive difference. It's the gap between chocolate that tastes like chocolate and chocolate that tastes like sugar and fats, with cocoa flavoring. You're still getting a sweet Easter egg, but one made with better ingredients and higher standards. It shows that even in the milk chocolate category, quality options exist if you look past the brands shouting loudest from cartoon boxes. Fifth, Lindt Lindor Dark Chocolate Egg with 70% cocoa truffles. This is qualified premium, not perfect, but leagues better than the Avoid list. The egg itself contains 70% cocoa minimum, nearly 4 times Cadbury's offering. Sugar sits at 25 grams per 100 grams, less than half the Avoid products. The caveat is the truffles do include some vegetable fats, so it's not flawless, but the overall package is still far superior. You're getting deep, refined richness, that melt-in-mouth experience Lindt is known for. Smooth and luxurious texture. 70% cocoa means this is serious dark chocolate, not sugar masked with minimal cocoa. 25 grams of sugar per 100 grams versus 56 means you're tasting chocolate, not sweetness. And this is available at major supermarkets. Premium dark is accessible if you want it. You don't need specialty retailers. It's sitting on the shelf next to the 20% cocoa palm oil eggs. You just have to choose it. The truth is simple. Easter eggs have changed, and not for the better. What started as hand-decorated luxury chocolate has become minimum standard products padded with palm oil, shrunk while prices rise, sold on nostalgia rather than quality. Cocoa prices collapsed 70%, while your Easter eggs got 40% more expensive per gram. Child labor persists in supply chains, while manufacturers post record profits. Some products are 60% sugar by weight, operating at the legal minimum for cocoa content, containing 15+ ingredients when chocolate needs 3, but better options exist. Higher cocoa percentages, cleaner ingredient lists, thicker shells, richer flavors, they're available at everyday supermarkets, often in premium own-brand ranges or independent labels. You just have to look past the cartoon boxes and check the numbers. If this matters to you, if you think families deserve better than shrinking sugar bombs at inflated prices, hit that hype button one more time. Leave a comment telling me which food we should investigate next. And subscribe, because I'm going to keep doing videos like this, exposing what's really in the products filling UK supermarkets. Until next time, check those percentages, read those ingredients, and protect your plate.